What is going on, guys? Nathan here. This video is for a friend, but I'm going to upload it to my main channel anyway in case anybody else is interested in viewing this process. This is how I make my paper proxies for Magic the Gathering. I am a deck brewer at heart and I make tons of decks, so to buy all of these decks would just simply not be possible, with each one clocking in at around $100, and I don't think anybody has that kind of money. So what I do is I just proxy all of those different decks to try out for when we play our various Commander Nights. And I am going to be using Google Docs for this process. So first of all, you're going to open up a brand new Google Doc. This has not been modified in any way, shape, or form so far, and I will go ahead and simply call this YT test. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is adjust the margins of the page. Top and bottom set to 0.2, left and right set to 0.3. This will allow you to have 9 different cards onto one page at one time. So, and then what you're going to want to do is pull up your deck list. So if we, I don't really need a deck list right now because I'm just doing this as an example, but the site that you want to go to is actually Gatherer. If you just go ahead and Google that, it'll be the first result. This is where I pull all of my images, and they're not the highest of resolutions, but they are almost exactly the size that I need for my paper proxies to fit into sleeves, so I go ahead and use this because it is easy. So I am going to just use Gahiji because he is one of my favorite commanders. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and just click and drag this image. We'll go over to this tab, go ahead and drop it there, and then what I do is I put 2 spaces in between each image, so just hit space twice, and then you're going to want to drag this to be a little bit bigger. So I use Ultra Pro sleeves, and I'm pretty sure all Magic sleeves are about the same size, but here if I'm actually holding a few in my hand right now just to sort of gauge the size, but basically this image as it sits right now is pretty small in terms of fitting into the sleeve. So what we want to do is make it a little bit bigger. Now, there isn't a hard and fast rule as to how to make the card bigger, but after making so many of these proxies, I can eyeball it almost pretty much perfectly. That's about the size increase that you want to have. So we'll go ahead and increase that. And if we go ahead and I think I might actually just fill this page with Kahijis just to show how they all fit into the page. I can actually copy and paste these. I just want to show a full page here, and also I want to show how as you sort of start resizing these images, you kind of get it down pretty well, and remember to put 2 spaces in between each of those cards. So it's about like that, and that's about the perfect size that I've kind of found. It's not big enough where it fits tight into a sleeve, and it's not loose enough where it will be rolling around in that sleeve when you start shuffling your cards, so to speak. So we'll just, let me just quickly finish this job. We got 2 more Gahijis, and the last one I'll actually show as well. So sometimes when you're coming across cards to put in your commander deck, that's a little bit too big actually. We're going to have to resize that. No, that's a little too small. So one other thing that I do is that whenever I find a card that I don't like the look of, for example, I don't like older looking cards. That's just my personal preference. For example, Brain Geyser is one of my favorite EDH sorceries, but this to me looks terrible. This is just an absolutely terrible old-fashioned style Magic the Gathering card. So what I do is I head on over to MTG, just Google MTG Card Maker. Now there's 2 options that you can use here. These 2 sites both have different strengths. So MTG Cardsmith crafts almost perfect what do I want to say here? Almost perfect duplicates, except for one problem. So I'm just going to showcase this really quick. So if you are looking to sort of keep a consistent style of a fake card, if you can see my air quotes, Then what I do is I go ahead and use a screenshotting program such as Gyazo, that's spelled G-Y-A-Z-O, Gyazo. And what I do is I just go ahead and drag over this and screen cap that, and what it will do is it'll give me this nice little piece of the artwork, and I zoom in a little bit just to capture that, so it's a little bit higher resolution. Kind of, sort of, not really. The image stays the same, but it's a little bit bigger. So what we're going to go ahead and do is download that. Now, I actually changed my mind. I'm gonna go back here first. My favorite card maker to use is called mtgcardmaker.com, which is right here, and that's mostly because it's much more straightforward, or at least in my opinion. So this interface is very simple. So here we go. I'm going to make an updated version of Brain Geyser here. So you can copy and paste the name if it's long, such as Vesuvian Doppelganger. That's kind of long to type in, and you might misspell it, so it's good to be accurate and just copy and paste. Anyway, we're going to set the colors blue. Mana cost is going to be X2 blue, so go ahead in the colorless, X2 blue. Okay, and then we're going to upload our artwork, and you can see these are all the artworks of cards that I've proxied. So it's going to be right here. We're going to hit upload. That's going to go ahead and upload, and we have a sorcery, and there's no subtype. Again, you can see all the information that you need right here, even the the subtype of a creature such as a cat or a knight or a soldier. Expansion symbol, this is a rare card, as you can see right there. We're going to go rare, and I'll just set it to Magic 2012 because it looks a little bit more modern. Target player draws X cards. Go ahead, copy and paste that. Power and toughness leave blank because it's not a creature. And the artist we will copy and paste right into here. And we hit generate. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this is pretty much a perfect updated look of the card. Now if we go ahead and drag it here into 1 second, let me just put this back. And then at the end of each page, you can go ahead and hit enter once, start a new page, and that's what I'm going to actually drag this into. You don't even need to save the image. You can just drag it straight from MTG Card Maker straight into the document, and you'll see it's massive, so it's a nice high resolution, and we'll shrink that down to about right there. Now, just for comparison, I'm going to bring this to the last page and resize it. Looks a little bit too big. We'll bring it down a little bit, and that looks to be about perfect. Again, hit enter, and don't forget the 2 spaces in between the cards, and that looks like a good set of proxies ready to be printed. And you can see, like, right here, if we compare the spacing, you know, these aren't exactly, these aren't exactly the same size, but honestly, it is close enough where nobody, not even you, will notice these sizing differences. So, oh, and then, okay, so what I also wanted to show you, MTG Card Maker doesn't do a very good job with creatures. For example, if I go back into this and I'm just gonna make some random card, colorless 2, black 2, some image, let me just make this super fast. It's going to be a creature, and it's going to be rare, and it's going to say ASDF, and its power and toughness is going to be 2/2. So I've ran into this glitch where the power and toughness won't like display for some reason. So if I hit generate, oh, it does display this time. Okay, well, I have been doing something wrong. All right, forget everything I just said. Use MTG Card Maker and not the first site that I showed, MTG Card Smith. MTG Card Maker is the way to go. What I was going to say is that the only problem that I've ran into is that sometimes the power and toughness doesn't display for creatures, but if it does actually work and it'll display the power and toughness, then this is the better site by far. Okay. So now we got all of our proxies lined up ready to go, and you can go ahead and print this, and I will show just a quick example out of in real life, I suppose, of just the very simple process that I do for cutting, and it has to be simple because you're going to be cutting like 80 of these things out. It is a time-consuming process. Takes for a full commander deck, if you're figuring in 20 basic lands, 80 cards that actually need to be proxied, it takes about an hour and a half or so. You know, you could just put on an episode of Netflix and just start cutting. But anyway, I will cut to IRL and show just the quick process that I do for cutting these out. Alright, so what you're going to have is 9 sheets printed out right here. I only have 2 because this is an actual cards from my mono blue deck that I'm currently proxying. And what you're going to want to do is there's going to be a 3x3 row of cards, and what I do is I cut out each row. So there's going to be 3 rows, and then once those are cut out, you then cut the rows into the columns so that you have a stack of 9 cards that are all individually cut out. Now I'm going to really quick do that for this. There we go, we cut off the cards from the row, and we'll cut off this blank spot right here. So then we're just going to individually, this is kind of hard from the angle I'm doing it off camera. There we go, solemn simulacrum. So then it's going to be pretty obvious from there. Cut out the cards, nothing spectacular, but there's going to be one little thing at the end that I would like to show you. And side number 3 here. Oops, I actually screwed up the edge on that. Side number 3, side number 4, and I also screwed up another edge on that. So you can see right here and right here, there's still some white, but I can go ahead and cut that out later. And then the last thing that you're going to want to do is nab these white spots on the corners right here. And what I do is just a single cut on the corner. And what this does is it gets rid of both the white and also the makes the card looks curved like a real Magic card. And I'm going to go ahead and fix these edges. Get rid of that white so it actually looks very nice. And there we go. We've got one solemn simulacrum here. And if I grab a sleeve and a card, what you can do is you take normal Magic the Gathering card, and this is just an Ultra Pro sleeve, a little bit dirty, but go ahead and fit the card in here with and a lot of times you can do it backwards so that you have a nice black border there. And simply just slide solemn simulacrum right into there. There you go. One completed Magic the Gathering proxy.